Welcome back, all our 40k fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
I'm Lane.
And we're here with Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40k battle report. This one, on my side, is very sloppy, but that's okay, because I am playing Orks.
It should be a little sloppy.
It should be a little sloppy, but not this sloppy, but it's going to be a little sloppy. I am bringing the WA. And the biggest reason was I was not anticipating playing the Orks until this new codex dropped. I got it in my hands, I got to sit down, and the Dread Mob. Who does this thing look like? A lot of fun. So when I asked Lane, I was like, this is what I'm playing. He's like, what do you want me to bring? I was like, I don't know. He's like, you know what? I'm going to bring a bunch of robots. So I made the joke it's robots versus wrestlers, even though it's robots versus robots, because I feel like in the orc aspect of things, they're the closest thing to the wrestlers of 40k. I feel like they would be the ones to just build in a wrestling ring and start wrestling, except their outcomes probably wouldn't be scripted.
Yeah, no.
But needless to say, today we will be featuring the brand new Orc Codex and the Dread Mob. This, to me, is a competitive detachment. Maybe not the build, because this is like the first time. This is the second time, technically, I'm ever playing the Orcs on the channel. Way back, way back.
Our first episode ever?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
If you go way back in time, we had pictures and stuff and talking over it from me playing Orcs.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. Don't go back and try to
Don't go back in time. No, do not. Just trust us. It's there. It exists. And I never played Orcs since. Because I'm playing AdMech, I'm playing Necrons, and Orcs were never really my thing. A lot of it's because Orcs kind of play one way. They're a horde army. Through the additions, you know, there would be speed freaks or stuff that would be relevant. But this time with attachments, there's some variety in this one, as far as from what I've seen. I've only seen a little bit, but what do you feel with that so far?
I've just heard people really excited about the Dread Mob. Seems like it'll be a lot of fun. It seems like there's a decent amount of power in the Orc Codex, but also a lot of orky fun. It sounds like it's a really well written book. So we'll see how this list plays today.
My vote initially, after running through the Codex, and I said this in my army description, is that Mega Armored Knobs are probably the big winner out of the Codex.
Yeah.
Mega Armored Knobs, there is a detachment that you can WA a second time. And during that second WA, it only affects War Boss, Knob, and Mega Knob units, which means any unit that a War Boss can join is a War Boss unit. But with that, you have the Mega Armored Knobs getting a 4-up Feel No Pain in the WA. So I really feel like, though, that's going to be a huge powerhouse point. I think, you know, when you pull up to a table and you're playing against Orcs and you see 18 Mega Armored Knobs, not to be surprised. I think that's going to definitely be a big staple for tournaments. But I also think that much as Hypercrypt, as the Dread, well, okay, I can't say the Knob detachment is close to Hypercrypt, because right now I've come to the conclusion that Hypercrypt, no one actually knows how to play it, because there's so many and when I say no one knows how to play it, I mean, I've seen in many Facebook groups where in one tournament it's ruled one way, in another tournament it's ruled another way, and there's so many little intricate things that as I said in my last video when I talked about this, I'll say it again. Kudos to Ulysses for what he said to me. The best thing to do, just play Canoptic Court. Canoptic Court is powerful. It is a very competitive army, and it makes sense on how all the rules play. The rules all function well. So yeah, that's how I feel. I'm playing more Canoptic Court. I like the Hypercrypt. I like a different style with it than what's currently playing with just Catans and that stuff. Don't know if that's going to stay with the points, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're talking about Orcs. And this Dread Mob looks like it will probably be one of the big winners to come out of the Codex. If nothing else, it is the orkiest detachment I've ever seen them put out.
Yeah, as you hit the big button and then stuff happens, who knows what's
You get a bunch of buttons.
Right.
You hit a bunch of buttons, and then you choose to push it. You go full throttle. You go, going to go a little bit? No. Kick it over to 11, baby.
Sounds so orky.
Oh, I love it, yeah. And then you do damage to yourself, and you're falling apart the whole way. But I'll be bringing Orcs. Lane, let's start off with your list. What are you be bringing us today?
All right, today we are playing Iron Hands and the Iron Storm Spearhead Detachment. Iron Hands, Iron Hands. We have 2 Tech Marines. One will have the Target Augury Web, and one will have the Master of Machine War Auras. We have 1 Brutalis Dreadnought. He lost some points. Points went down. See if he's a little bit better here. We've got 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts. We've got 2 Invictor Tactical Warsuits. We have 3 Redemptors. So we've got all these Dreadnoughts, and we're going to buddy in some allied armatures. So we have 2 Armature Warglaves and 1 Armature Helvrin for a total of 11 Walkers and 2 Tech Marines. DJ, what are you bringing today?
Well, keeping with the theme of walkers, robots, machines, and all that jazz, I will also be bringing a bunch of walkers, but I will not be bringing 11. No, 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 no. I'm going to be bringing 12, 13, 14, 15 walkers in this list. As I said, this is the Dread Mob, which allows me to roll a dice or automatically pick an ability. And if I automatically pick it, I get hazardous weapons. My strats are the same way. I pick abilities, I can go further and give myself hazardous. So there's a lot of ways that I can do damage to myself while doing damage to my opponent. Super orky. For this list, we are going to be taking a 6-man of Killicans as well as 2 3-man Killicans. We have a 1 Dreadnought joined into the fray today. Mork and Gork are making an appearance. We will have a Battle Wagon, which will have 5 Mega Knobs in it with a mech in Mega Armor, as well as 4 squads of Gretchens. In this attachment, you can take Gretchen as battle line. Then we have 3 mechs. Yes, these are not actual mech models. These are characters. I need characters on 32s. Oops, my bad. I did not know they were on 32s, so I took the 40s. And finally, we have 1 squad of Storm Boys because cheap, deep strike, secondaries. I mean, yeah. Like when I looked through, at first I was looking at Ludas because Ludas kind of fit with the theme. They're just, I don't know. Initially, I just want to say they're bad, because they're a shooting unit that really can't shoot. But I don't know until I actually get a feel for them on the table if I were to play them. It's tough for me to say because, again, I am not an Ork player. I really never consider myself an Ork player, and I've never really considered even playing Orks as an army.
I played them back in 7th edition, 6th and 7th edition. I have a bunch of Orks. They're just not on the current base size. So I played back in the day, but it's been a couple editions just because of what went in and out of style, what went in and out of effectiveness.
You're right, right. And for me, when we started developing the channel, my buddy out in Florida, Calvin, actually just sent me his entire Ork collection. So that pushed me way, way, way further. And then I won a tournament and picked up a whole bunch more Orks. So I was like, much like Necrons, it's the same how it happened with Necrons. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm playing Orks now. So I started to have them, started to build them, started to work on them, but then the game changed. We changed over. I went over into Grey Knights, which I still feel like Grey Knights is my strongest competitive faction. If I'm going to a GT and I'm playing to win, that's right now where I feel like my strongest hand is. Even though I got to make some tweaks to the list, I still feel strongest with Grey Knights because of how it plays with my play style. But this looks like so much fun. And if this is good, I plan on tweaking. I already talked with a buddy right now about picking up 6 more Killicans so I can run a full 18 loadout of Killicans because I think they are so good out of this attachment.
How many points for 6 of them?
Oh, I don't even know. Okay. I'm playing Orks, man. You think
I was just going to say, if you can run 18 Killicans and 18 Mega Knobs, that's your army right there.
Yeah, right. Literally. But no, the thing with the Mega Knobs is because the attachment has a lot of effects out of mech units. The Mega Knobs with a mech with them will then become a mech unit. So, and there isn't as many stratagems. The push the button does affect them, but they don't shoot as much. Combat, that'll be pretty nice. Yeah. Strats, not as many. So 50-50 on that, but definitely that 1 squad, I think, is going to be able to be solid to be able to be a scalpel, get into positions, do some work, do some damage. I also like a
scalpel. Orks don't have scalpels. They only have hammers.
No,
they only have hammers.
Have you looked at a Pain Boy? He has hands made of scalpels.
They got big old bone saws, no scalpels.
They have that too. They have that too. But with this army, as I said in my report, and this is going to be where we go through and talk about this, the dynamic of the channel is going to be shifting here in a little bit, for a good reason. So soon, I don't know if it's going to be next week, is going to be the first week that we take a week off or the week following, but we will be going to battle reports every other week. And this is because I do the primary editing. And when I'm editing all the videos and stuff like that, it takes away from hobbying time, which means that this is the situation where then, and granted with this, the codex just dropped and I don't play Orks at all, so I don't think I would have had this army ready in 2 days, but it still takes a strain on that. It takes a strain on being able to do things like build new terrain where, especially more so with the models, getting stuff painted, primed, base coated, sitting on a table where you need to be able to put it away for a little bit, let it dry, let it function and work on these projects where I'm shimming models like, oh, get it upstairs, get it back down, get it here, get it there, and moving so much circulation, it's not spending enough time to get painted to be displayed and be on the channel. With that, we also want to start trying to make the channel grow even more. So this is not a step back because, oh, we don't have the time to maintain it. This is a step back from the battle reports so that we can start to push the channel and grow further. This way we have time for Lane and myself to sit down, look at different revenues that maybe we can start to increase funding, look at a little bit so that we can build more terrain, build more stuff, but mostly create better content. Lane said it best when we were having the conversation, reduce quantity to increase quality. Now that doesn't mean that we're going to reduce as much in quantity. I'll probably do more solo content. Lane has a computer now, so with the days that we take off, I'm going to be able to show him some of the ways that I edit. So Lane will be able to record videos as well on his own, and we'll be able to consistently put videos out there for things like the Death Watch, for Necrons and things like that, and put stuff out there, which those edits are less time consuming. And one of the things that I said in my video that was signing Lane up for something that he honestly has no idea what I'm about to say or sign him up for right now is something that particularly after we discuss it on like a day that Lane has, he could take all the cards, run them through a scanner, put them on a file, send it over to me, and that would be a huge help for when we do these games. So instead of me taking a photograph of the cards, now we have better pictures, and then over time build up a better library of stratagems and effects so that during the battle reports we can put even more details out there. So when we do something cool or we highlight an army, for example, Lane's Death Watch list, we could put the Tome of Ectocles up there. So when we're talking about this and you're trying to learn this and figure this out and you're watching our video, bam, there it is. There's the enhancement on the screen. Then you can pause for a second. I do it all the time. Pause a video and just read something and be able to do that. So this is the direction we're taking. This is a huge dedication that we're putting to this, but we realize by taking that week off, it's going to allow us to increase everything tenfold here on the channel. Any comments, questions, or concerns on that?
No, like I said, trying to improve the quality of what we're doing just means we have to cut back on the number of battle reports, but you're still going to get a lot of content from us, and we're just going to try to focus a little more on making it the best content possible.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that we won't go back to weekly battle reports in a sense, and that doesn't mean as well at the same time if I pick up a game with someone, as I've done the shorter versions where it's just bam, here's the army, bam, here's the army, and much quicker battle reports, those will still pop up here and there. We may go back to every single week on a battle report, or we might even do a campaign where suddenly we have a game going for an entire time frame because of something we section off. All that stuff is plausible. But right now, I want to be able to take that time so that we can learn how to increase the quality, how to add better data files, better everything for the channel entirely. Enough of that stuff. That's what's going on. I'm sorry this army isn't painted. That's why we're doing this. But it's Orky. We're allowed to be sloppy. Lane's got us covered on the painting. The last thing we need to do is let Lane roll the dice because he won last game.
There should be something for Orks. Like red ones go faster. Purple ones are hard to see. Gray Orks should be something. Like if you paint it gray, it should be. The Orks got to think gray is good for something, right?
We're more. Well, here's the funny thing.
Gray ones are tankier.
The funny thing is this, that technically, if you really go into the lore of it, Orks are the most powerful psychic army in the game because half their stuff, like you have these Ork vehicles that fall apart, and Mechanicus, Tech Marines and stuff will bring these vehicles back to work on them, and they'll literally look at people and go, there is no reason why this should work. You see this truck? It doesn't have an engine. Like there's no, this walker has no leg joints. How is it running?
Like the Orks just think happy thoughts. And
exactly.
It works.
That's how it works. You paint it red and it goes faster, and it does because they just collectively believe it. If it's yellow, it shoots better. Crazy. All right, Lane. All
right. You're going to call it, bud. Here we go.
Even.
Oh, sorry.
Lane.
I don't have a lot of practice at rolling the big die on the table.
On a table. The table is this big. All you have to do is hit the table.
Do you want to re-roll it?
Just hit the table.
Okay.
Yes, I do. You didn't hit the table.
Okay, here we go.
Even.
I'm really bad at rolling this.
We're going to have a talk here, man.
All right.
We're going to have a talk here.
Let's try again. I'm just going to spin it this time. All right, we're going to do a spin.
This is going to fly off the table. Odd. Oh, and it goes even the last time. I should have just stuck with even.
Just as I planned.
Yeah. I can't roll a dice until you say odd, and then haha. All right. Well, Lane, you want to deploy first or second?
I will have you drop first.
All right. Well, we'll be back after deployment. All right, Orc fans. We are deployed. So, Lane, tell us what we are doing today.
We are playing the game of Warhammer 40,000. In the grim dark of the far future, there is only war, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Our deployment will be sweeping engagement. This is Crooked Dawn of War. Our mission special rule is hidden supplies. We have an extra objective in the middle of the board. We kind of move the middle one out a little bit and put another one on there. And then our primary mission is Scorched Earth. So we get 5 points for each objective we control in our command phase, up to 10 points. And at the end of the game, we get an extra 5 points if we burned one or more in the middle. So burning more than one doesn't really benefit us on our scores anymore. It might mess with our opponent's ability to score. We get an extra 10 points if we burn the objective marker in our opponent's deployment zone.
So we only can score 10 points. We can score for our home field objective in this one?
Yep.
Okay. That's one thing is like some of those missions, they don't. All right. So let's talk about deployment. So in an unconventional fashion, look at this. I'm all out there. I'm ready to start orking it up.
You're not hiding in the building?
No, not fully. Just a little bit because I start running out of space on the front line. So in reserve and transports and stuff, we have. So the Mork and Gore cannot have a transport capacity, so both are going to be housing a squad of Gretchen to keep them protected and let them run out later in the game. And then the Battle Wagon will have my Mega Knobs with my Mech and Mega Armor. That's one that's a tongue twister. I feel like I have to stop and think about that every time. Mech in Mega Armor. Otherwise, we do have a squad of Storm Boys that's going to be in Deep Strike because that's what Storm Boys do really good at. All right, so over here, we're hiding this Dreadnought back here. Keeping him nice and safe, the Death Dread. Keep him nice and safe so he's able to support these Grots to try and get up here on this objective. Might try and burn that one, but either way, that's a little bit of play on that objective. Then we got Killicans back here. We have a 6-man and the 3-man, both of which in position so they can go and fight in the center, or go over here and support on this objective, depending on what Lane decides to do and how the game kind of goes. Could depend on who goes first and second as well on that. A lot of them behind those, so at least if I get hit, I got cover. They're pretty tough, so I feel confident in the first turn. It's later turns that's going to be rough with them. Over here, Battle Wagon. Turn Crooked so that I can get the benefit of cover, as well as the fact that thing's got that Armor of Contempt buff for the permanently, so that thing could be pretty durable, at least on turn 1 in safe spot. And then Gork's turn sideways as well, too, to try and get less shots onto him if I do not go first. We have a mech position in here. We also have a mech position right there. And we have a mech positioned back here. Yes, I know, they're not mechs. We're working on that. For these guys to be able to scooch through and start their advance over this way towards this objective. Then we have one squad of Gretchen hiding over in here because I do want to have at least one squad of Grots on an objective marker to start the game, so at least I can roll 1 dice. And on a 4-up, I will gain a command point to start off to begin the turn off with. It's a very, very nice ability that I like a lot with the Gretchen. Again, for this detachment, Gretchen count as battle lines, so that's why I'm able to take 4 of them. All right, I've talked enough. Lane, what are you doing?
We're just ready to get out there. So I've got a couple Invictors on the table. These guys have an 8-inch scout move, so they'll be able to scout on the first turn. Everybody else is just kind of positioned to have cover, but be able to step out and do some shooting. The Brutalis is up here. Hopefully he doesn't get shot too much the first turn because we want him to get in there and do some punching.
I actually want to get my Death Dread to fight him. That's fine.
Yeah,
Death Dread over here.
We need to have a challenge, issue a challenge here. And then we've got 3 of the Redemptors. They'll be able to move through this space in the wall here, and they can advance and shoot because of the Tech Marine aura. So I wanted to have them some cover so they didn't get shot too early, and then get them out there. And
Tech Marines are actually on the ground floor, correct?
Yeah, on the ground floor.
Matters because they have
they have blown up as long as they're within 3 inches of a
same with mech. So
vehicle.
In this matchup, Lane. Oh, and then you have over here another armature hanging out?
Yeah, just ready to get on that objective if I need to.
Now, real quick, I didn't ask you. Is this actually a with the autocannons?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone is you're all Wiswig.
Yeah, for the most part. One of these Redemptors has a Gatling cannon on it here, but I'm using
the plasma. Yeah.
And then I don't have the guns on top of the armatures. He's got a stubber, and the 2 Warglaves have the melta guns on top.
Gotcha. All right. So in this matchup, would you like to go first or second?
Gosh, either way, I guess.
I kind of want to go first.
I can start doing some shooting turn 1 if I go first, or I can wait for you to move out there and you have more stuff to shoot at.
I'd like to go first to get myself into a safer position to absorb you, but I did deploy in anticipation of going second because I don't want to lose too much too early. So, all right, time to let the dice decide.
Here we go. Oh, it's a couple 6s.
I feel like this is becoming a pattern with us of tying
6s all the time. I don't know. Here we go. That's you.
Yeah. See. All right. Well, I guess I get my wish and I will go first. Lane, you have a couple scout moves. We'll let you do those, and then we'll get ready to start the orc turn. Okay, so Lane led us off with some scout moves. So Lane, you just kind of moved back, got yourself. There's one Invictus over here. He kind of just went back a little bit.
Yeah, just so you couldn't get a charge with that.
The Death Dread. If I decided to turn 1 Wa, which I did not. No turn 1 Wa. And then this Invictus Warsuit also just kind of scooted back.
It's a little bit tricky.
So taking that into consideration, we got engage on all fronts and investigate signals. So I'm not going to really be able to, I don't really want to go after investigate signals because if I go over here in the corner, I'm just sacrificing whatever unit I put there. Now, granted, I have Gretchen, but I want those Gretchen on this objective because that's an extra CP roll. And if these guys are left alone and ignored, I could potentially burn that objective. So that's what I'm thinking initially. On to other stuff. So these guys moved up. The cans moved up into here. They have flamethrowers, so they're not going to be able to do very much this turn. So they're just going to sit, still being in position to move either way. And I know, Lane, I said I was going to advance with this guy, but actually I'm not going to. Because you know what? Guess what that battle wagon's going to do?
Is he going to shoot?
No.
He's going to charge?
No. He's going to burn.
Okay.
Am I allowed to with a vehicle?
Yeah, I mean, any unit can do it. Are you burning with those grots over there?
No, because they're not going time burn. No, because I kind of feel like this objective is one that I would try to hold for a longer time frame.
Yeah, because you can only do it to 1 unit. So that's
one
unit can burn per turn.
So no. Those grots, so we'll get over there in a second. So over here, though, these cans receive the buff from my mech to be able to get +1 to hit, and they're just going to try and shoot downwind at the Invictus Warsuit and see what we can make happen over there. Try out those abilities. But yeah, no, the battle wagon's going to burn this objective. He's very, very tough, and I think that this will be a difficult unit to take out, and I probably can burn that objective. So get that 5 points at end of game and start reducing where Lane can score points. That's what I'm thinking. Over here, Mr. Gork, he moved up, and he's going to draw line of sight into this armature over here and put some shots at him. We're going to try out some of these abilities and see how much damage we do to him. We did not gain a command point off these guys, so I think that investigate signal is going to be my command point because I don't really want, like I said, I don't want to sacrifice my dread or anything over there, and I don't really have anything in position back here to be able to grab it. Now, engage on all fronts. We did disembark the grots from the Morkanaut, and we will be able to get engage for 3 table quarters, so we'll get a little bit on secondaries. Not too bad, because there's a couple secondaries I could draw that I completely could not score. So I'll take getting a small amount of points. Oh, and then these cans advanced, the mech advanced, and get us ready for later in the game. So, all right, now we're going to do some shooting and see how much damage we do to myself. Okay, so right over here, we are down to 17 wounds because we spent the CP on a stratagem to allow us to get full rerolls because we pushed it. And we also picked our try that button for lethal hits because I had a lot of strength 6 and you also have the missile at strength 9 and the big shooter. So I thought lethal was the way to go. Worked out decently. We did drop him down to 6 wounds. Is that
5?
5 wounds. 5 wounds. Sorry, I got a
left.
glare over here. And he starts at, what was it again?
He did 12, so he did 7 wounds to him.
7, not too terrible, considering we were basing a lot off the lethal, so in most targets, it's fair. The Death Storm Shooter is not really the anti-tank gun, but I'll take it. 3 wounds to ourselves. On the crackback, we only rolled 1 of the weapons as hazardous, so I'll take that. And then over here, Killicans. They got +1 shot for their buff, and they got sustained hits, which meant absolutely nothing for them this turn. They did not get any additional hits. They rolled pretty bad, actually, on their hits because they were even hitting on a 3. So only 1 missile from that all got through for 3 damage on the Invictor. So that was it for this turn. Nothing too impressive, no crazy sparklers. But also, we could have done a ton of damage to our own Gorgonaut. I'm glad at least that didn't happen. So we will score 3 on engage. We will pitch investigate signals to gain a command point, since we did not gain 1 off the Grot buff this turn. And pass it over to Lane and see how Lane cracks back. Oh, and we are in the process of burning this objective. All right, over to the Iron Hands.
Okay, we pulled engage on all fronts and storm hostile objective. So here we go. This Armiger Warglaive moved up here to do some work and got overwatched for his troubles. He is down to 2 wounds, so he survived the overwatch. Not a whole lot of 6s there. And then we just moved in here. We're going to try to tangle with this bandwagon battle truck, big rigger.
You said everything in combination, but not the right one. Battle wagon.
Battle wagon. He's going to be tough to deal with because he's always got armor contempt. We're going to put some shots into him here, and then Brutalis is going to try to make a charge in there. We're going to go for it. So we'll see. We'll see where we get to, and then we oath the moment this 6-man brick of Killicans. So all of these kiddos are going to shoot downtown into those kiddos and see if we can make some go away. These guys advanced, but this Tech Marine gives them the advance and shoot, so they will be able to shoot even though they advanced. And then we're going to try and take this objective from these here Grots. We're going to try and storm this hostile objective. So I'm going to do some shooting. We'll be back. All right, the little Warglaive that nearly died decided to slap back extra hard. He's hitting on 4s, but he, without any rerolls or anything, I got 2 hits with the thermal spear, and then he got 2 wounds with the thermal spear. And they both went through. DJ failed the saves because I was within 12 inches. They were within melta range. So that means he took what? He took 14 wounds?
Yeah, 14 damage.
Yeah. So he's down to 3. So we got him down to 3. I won't be able to charge him, but we'll see what happens there. Shooting into the battle wagon got him down to 7. So he's got 7 wounds left there. Brutalis is going to charge maybe the Invictor. We'll see how we feel. And then shooting over here went off really well. The Macroplasma Incinerator from one of these Redemptor Dreadnoughts picked up, one of these Redemptors picked up 3 of the 6 Killicans, and then we finished him off with shooting from the other Redemptor and the Brutalis. And that's about it. So we're going to do a little charging. I got storm hostile objectives, so I'm going to try and storm onto these Grots here and see if I can tangle with them. And then we're going to do some charging here, see if we can get that Brutalis in the battle wagon. And, you know, that Helvrin, or that Warglaive, is not long for this world, so he's going to charge in and see if he can tangle a little bit too. So we'll see how the fight phase goes. So the Brutalis, when he charged in there, he did 3 mortals on his charge impact. I decided to tank shock him as well. Now, last time we played, DJ tank shocked and threw 14 dice and got 1 mortal wound.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to pay him back in kind, so I tank shocked with the Brutalis. His 12 strength 12 versus toughness 12, so it was 12 dice, and I also only got 1 wound, 1 mortal wound from that. So we got him down to 3, and we were able to get 1 of our punches through. So we did finish off the battle wagon in fighting combat. And then over here, the Armiger came in and picked up 5 Grots. The Grots did not, were not able to slap him back. So I did storm hostile objective here because the Armiger is still OC 8. And then over here, the Invictor did make a charge in. Wasn't able to take the objective. He also bopped 5 Grots. But he's only OC 3 or 4. So the Grots technically still hold that. But I did get my Storm Hostile. I got my Engage in 3 fronts. So I got 8 points on secondaries. Pretty good damage output too. Picking up those Killicans in there and doing some significant damage to this Gork or Mork Anot. On to DJ's turn.
Bring it down and no prisoners is what I got going on this round. So it is time to call for the mighty Wah. And because my children are going to bed, I'm not going to scream it.
It's going to be a soft Wah.
Wah. So what we did here is we fixed a little bit of the Gork. We got him up to 5 and sat him still because I could see Lane salivating, just waiting to spend that 1 command point to overwatch me back.
That'd be nice.
And try and pop me off before I destroy his armature. I did fall back from combat and brought the cans over here to, well, do what cans do. Rip that to shreds. The Morkanaut is going to move up the middle. Now he's able to charge this Invictor Warsuit if we don't just simply blow it up and shooting. So we're on the objective with the Morkanaut. So if we just blow it up, I'll be happy with that. Over into here, the knobs are ready to go knobbing and beat up on the Brutalis. You destroyed my car, so we're going to send you away as well, too. Especially in the Wah. These guys are really, really going to be tough to deal with this turn. Then over here, we advanced with these guys. I figured I'd sacrifice their shooting for combat to try and get them to charge the Invictus Warsuit. And a roll of 1. So they're going to need a 9 to charge that Warsuit. This guy came rushing out, the Death Dread did, and he's going to do some charging here in a minute because he also advanced. And that's about it. So we do have some shooting, so let's do that first, and then we'll make some charge moves. All right, so I spent a command point to let these guys advance, give them assault weapons, the Killicans, and they shot, and only 1 went through. Lane made a good amount of the 4-ups, being in cover, so got this guy down to, what is that, 6? Mm-hmm. And so he's beaten up, but now we're going to have to stick that long 9. And then over here, the Morkanaut did some work, dropped the Invictus down to 4, and we're going to have to charge in to finish it off. Happy trails. The Killicans did finish off the Armiger, taking that objective and making it ours. So yeah, we definitely need to... Oh, and to no one's surprise, the Mega Armor Knob shooting was not effective going into the Brutalis. So now we just have to do some charges because that's where our damage really is going to be and see how this works out. All right, time to roll some charges. Well, I don't really know what to say about this turn except that was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. Lane, I don't want to ever hear about bad dice ever again. This was one of the most disgusting turns that I'm glad we don't record the dice rolls, because going into the charges, first of all, they rolled a 1 on their advance, and then they failed to charge. Okay. This was a misplay. I should have just only fought 1, but not only did I not destroy either one of them, the Brutalis did 3...
that Ballista
did 3 damage alone because I can't make armor saves. The Mega Armored Knobs did not take the Brutalis down. They dropped him only down to 7.
Yeah, I did Armor Contempt there, and he's a 2-up armor save, so he just tanked a lot of saves.
So, and I mean, granted, the Mega Knobs also tanked back. I lost 1 in the process, and only took 1 wound on him because of their feel no pain and everything like that. But they didn't take him down. And then over here, I needed a 6 on the dice, and he failed to charge. And he failed. So this was an absolutely, completely miserable turn, or charge phase for the Orks, where you would expect them to do well in fighting. That didn't happen. And especially hurt because I didn't score as well on secondaries when I should going into a vehicle army and no prisoners. I'm going to get, what do I get for the armor? Do I get 4 points for it because I drew the card?
Yep.
So I get 4 points for the armature I killed, and then I get 3 points for no, 3 points for no prisoners, or just 2? 2 points for no prisoners because I only took out 1 unit. I am rather disappointed with how that played out, especially when you're playing Orks and you fail to do damage in combat. That is very sad and very disappointing. And all right, let's see how this goes in the crackback and see what we can do into the later turns of the game.
Alright, so for this turn, Lane pulled Overwhelming Force and Cleanse. Sorry I have to cut in here, but for some reason, Lane sounded like he was underwater. So Lane is planning on getting rid of the Grots and using a Redemptor to cleanse in this one, and he left his Brutalis and Ballista and Armiger in combat to just shoot at the Dread, positioning another Redemptor to come charge and help on the Mega Knobs. He also was lining up a couple of other Dreads as well as the Armiger to go at the Morkanaut, and left the Brutalis to hang out, shooting at the Mega Knobs and just continue to fight them in combat. So again, sorry, some reason he sounded like he's underwater. You're going to hear it at the next clip a little bit in the beginning, and then we're all good from there.
In shooting, the Invictor picked up the Grots, burned through them. We picked up 2 of these Killicans. Nothing got through. Here,
no, you took out one.
Did I get? Okay, I got one there. And
yeah,
then
you didn't. You hit a multi-melta for 6 damage, and I feel no pain to down.
Oh, right. Yeah, so that guy's got one left.
One thing we did forget to mention is this Invictor Warsuit ran up this way, and I picked it up on the Overwatch with the Morkanaut just to finish the job.
Right. And then we did some shooting from this. I did Mercy's Weakness on him. Even though he didn't get the rerolls, I did roll pretty well and managed to take some damage off of him. He's down to what?
6.
6 left.
He did 12 damage off of Plasma.
Yeah, the Macroplasma did some work there. I rolled hot on my wound rolls, so that's where we're at. I guess I'll just charge a clock in a couple places, and then we'll go from there. After the fighting, so this Invictor's charged and finished off the last Killican there. And then we charged in here, didn't do a whole lot of damage to the Mega Knobs. It did pick up 1, but the 4-up Feel No Pain makes them very hard to kill. So 4-up Invuln plus the 4-up Feel No Pain didn't get a whole lot through there. So that's it. I just scored 6 on secondaries, 3 points for Overwhelming Force for picking up these Grots over here, and this Redemptor cleansed here. So 3 for cleanse, 3 for Overwhelming, and that is it. DJ did complete the burning of this objective with these Grots. So we're going to pick that one up, and he gets 5 points for that.
The name of the game is Capture Enemy Outpost. And the name of the unit?
Storm Boys.
Storm Boys. Oh my gosh, I brain farted.
Jumpy Orks.
Yes. So, other than that, everything else is going to have to push forward. We got the Killicans, drawing a lane down this way to try and do some damage to this Brutalis. Then we brought our big Stompy Boys in the middle, which is probably going to be one of their last stands in this run for where we're at. But we're going to make it a good one because we will be able to charge. And I know they reduce damage by 1, but man, I have a lot of damage I'm able to put down. So we have 2 command points. We gain 1 from the Grots, and we're going to try and do a lot of damage here. Like I said, we got both of these guys in position to try and take stuff out, maybe get these Mega Knobs out of combat, try and beat up some of the Dreads over there. And yeah, and then these Grots, you know, because Grots charging vehicle, that's always a good decision. And that's realistically about it, because we also have extend battle line, so we need to try and make sure we have that battle, that object. Oh, no, we don't. We're good. Yeah, we're good. We're extend battle line. So yeah, this is just, everything else is just beat them up. So, all right, time to do some Orky shooting. All right, so the shooting phase was not that effective, sadly. I really did not do any damage at all. I just kind of picked on some stuff a little bit, so we just went right into the charges. Because, yeah, even the cans going downfield, they did damage to themselves on their ability. They shot downfield and just did a little bit here.
We did just the same amount of damage to each of us. I took 3, you took 3.
Yeah. Morkanaut did not do anything to the Brutalis. Armor Contempt just completely walled him. And, I mean, I think I did 2 damage in the end because I got like 1 zap cannon through. And then shooting over here into this Brutalis, we did a little bit of damage from the Gorkanaut, but not too much. Now charging, now we actually were able to hit when we're not in the WA. The Morkanaut did pick up the Redemptor because he tank shocked. And even with 20 dice, I still managed to not hit 6. I hit 5.
Got 5.
Got 5. And then finished the day. Then, so he finished the day of there, but he did hazard and hurt himself. So he is going to be down to 2 wounds. He has 2 wounds remaining because he, when he was shooting, he did some damage to himself. So he's down to 2. This is probably going to be his last roundabout turn. And then over here, we charged in and we were able to just absolutely clobber the Brutalis. Brutalis not reducing damage. so he was not able to slow down the 18 wounds that I did, 18 points of damage that I did to him. My Mega Knobs got hurt. Not having the feel no pain is they quickly are diminishing very fast, and in return, their crackback, that Brutalis, reduces damage by 1, so those 2 damage weapons, they get hurt. So I did not capture enemy outposts because I did fail the charge with the Storm Boys, sadly. And, yep, there they are. Still there.
Right there.
So I did pitch capture enemy outposts, even though I won't gain the command point because I already gained it off the Grot's ability. But I don't feel like, with the Morkanauts probably going to be gone, I don't think I have anything that's really going to be able to rush that objective to score it. So I did just pitch it anyways. And yeah, we will get extend battle lines and pass it back over to Lane.
My secondaries this turn will be area denial and bring it down. One of those is going to be a lot easier to achieve than the other one. I did pull tempting target, but I decided to spend my 1 CP for this turn to discard that because DJ would have tempted me with this target, which I would not be able to get to. Area denial, it will be tricky, but we'll see how things go. So I just kind of moved up to position. I oathed a moment this Gork and or Morkanaut, and we're just going to do some blasting, some shooting, see how things go. This Tech Marine's coming over here. He's angry because his Redemptor got blown up, so he will get to, if we don't shoot these guys away, he'll get to charge in there and do some damage. And this Tech Marine is up here. Just to try and do area denial, he's probably going to charge through there and try and wreck some grots. So I'm going to shoot. We shot and shot until all the big robots in the middle are not there anymore. Oh, did you roll for the other one exploding?
Yeah, I failed.
Okay. I say that would be bad news for both of us if they exploded. But we picked up a couple of these Storm Boys from the Angry Tech Marine shooting, and then picked up the Grots shooting here with the Helvrin, and then just put everything else into the two big boys, the Gork and Mork, and they both took their lumps and went away. So now it's just charging, a couple charges, and then we'll finish out the turn. All right, so fight phase, we finish off the Storm Boys with the Angry Tech Marine. This Tech Marine charged into the Mega Knobs, did a little bit of damage, picked up one of them, and then the Redemptor, when he swung, was able to finish them off. So that is it for the turn. We get small area denial because we are not wholly within 6 of the center, and then we get 8 for bring it down because we brought down the big boys.
Things are really, really, really not looking good, so we're just going to keep pushing. So we have Defense Stronghold as one of our secondaries, so I should be... I don't know, it's going to be tough. We got this Invictor war suit catching up with me over here. That could be trouble for me to hold it. And then we have Storm Hostile objectives, which what we're going to do is we're going to try and take this objective away through just sheer force of will. So we'll see how this all plays out. That's basically it. We just moved the Killicans up. We also moved the mechs up to try to take on some stuff and try and see if their guns can actually hurt some, because they got a weird little pistol that actually does damage. And then we'll probably charge and try and take out that Tech Marine and just see what we can do with anything. But honestly, if we don't kill the Redemptor, we're not taking the objective. So, all right, let's shoot some guns and see what happens. After spending 2 command points, we went to full rerolls to hit. We selected our ability that we wanted. We went +1 to wound and +1 damage. We didn't even put a single wound. This game, I have never rolled this bad in my entire life. This has been absolutely horrendous. I did 0 wounds from everything with all the rerolls, all the boosts and damage. The +1 strength effect on their missiles, nothing could go through. Then we charged, and I don't know, did we do any damage to him? I don't remember.
No, I remember.
Yeah, made the saves. That's how that went. And then over here, the mech shot, mechs charged, mechs died. So he'll get picked up next turn. That was my only chance, was to blow my chance for getting Storm Hostile or Overwhelming Force. I can't remember which one I had, but I needed to kill the Dread. I had to take out the Dread to have any chance of possibly picking up the Tech Marine, but didn't even get... I went after the Tech Marine anyways because that's a buff, if I could take that buff down, but I didn't get that either. So this is going to be a very, very mean and fast cleanup turn for Lane as he just starts picking different units and picking them up off the table. All right, over to the Iron Hands.
Okay, my turn 4, we shot away these guys, the last of the cans here, charged in and finished off the mech because I pulled Assassinate and Defend Stronghold. So we did get Assassinate, and we should get Defend Stronghold on my turn. And just scooched back a little bit in case I pull Investigate Signals. And move down here, even though I'm on the objective, DJ still controls that one with the Grots. So he will still get 10 on his primary on his turn. And over to him.
Easy and fast turn for me. I got behind enemy lines and overwhelming force. I do not have anything to push overwhelming force. So just rush these guys over here since now I've already scored my 10 on primary for the turn. And was able to get behind enemy lines for 5 points. And that is going to be it for me. We're going to kick it over to Lane for the cleanup step.
So I pulled Capture Enemy Outpost and Secure No Man's Land. So this Invictor moved in here and was able to cook all the Grots that were left in that squad. Invictors don't do a whole lot of damage, except to Grots, because they just have some flamer and frag cannons and stubbers and heavy bolters, enough to chew through them. And then we picked up the remaining Ork units over here. So we scored 8 on Capture Enemy Outposts and 3 for Securing No Man's Land, because we controlled this one here in the middle. That brings our final for the score, 90 for the Iron Hands and 77 for the Orks. So 90 Iron Hands, 77 Orks. It was a rough game for the Orks, but definitely some dice played into that quite a bit. So follow us over to the post game, and we'll talk it out.